Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Josh, aka OneTrack, aka OneTrackMind, and you're watching a 416 interview. Yup.
Yeah. So I want to start this interview by asking you, how did you get into music and like the creative scene?
Yeah, for sure. So I jumped into the music space back in 16, 17. And I was just trying to I was trying to carve my own path because I was trying to while trying to get into the music industry on the back end, so many people were saying no that I was like, okay, cool, like I might as well just make my own way. And I started, making repost content, stuff that I would post on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. Nothing with my face in it, nothing original, nothing that I would really have to do any editing for. I would just see like Facebook meme pages and stuff like that that I would like jump on the wave with. So I decided to try and get into that. You know what I mean?
For people who are unfamiliar with your content, could you explain like what One Track Mind is and like what One Track World is?
Yeah. So One Track Mind is kind of like developed over time to the point where like people started referring to me as One Track and getting like the branding a little confused, which I totally understand because I changed my handle to One Track and I go outside and people call me One Track and shit like that. So I kind of wanted to develop a platform originally, like as a media platform, and it sort of switched into me becoming an internet personality, um, which is super cool. I'm cool with that, but I still wanted the media platform to exist, so I, started OneTrackWorld, the website and the page, um, and I started doing. I started going back to my roots. So in addition to the regular, content with my face in it that I make on OneTrackMind, where I talk about artists and I give my opinions or I tell cool stories or whatever it is. I decided to also repurpose content that's already out there and exists on One Track World or break some sort of news on One Track World so that I can, kind of tap into multiple pockets and be the media outlet that I initially set out to be while also maintaining the status of like creator that I've developed over the years.
All right. What did you blow up on?
It's weird, bro. Like I had like motion on like a bunch of different platforms coming up. But the one that really like changed my life, like allowed me to do the things I wanted to be doing is definitely TikTok. Like TikTok, bro, TikTok, like I was on it relatively early. So after I hit like 30 to 40,000 followers, I bought my first car off of it. And yeah, like after I bought my car, I was like, all right, cool. I think that this is gonna be something that sets the tone, like sets me apart from others. And I just leaned into it and developed other platforms while maintaining my TikTok, and thankfully, it worked.
What's the first like social media platform that you were on for like One Track?
Probably Facebook. I want to say Facebook. Like I tried Reddit, I tried a bunch of stuff, but I want to say the first one was Facebook.
Did you move on to like Instagram like relatively quickly afterward?
Nah, it took me a while. So basically, like my Facebook page, and it's still up there, but I haven't posted on it in like 4 years. Um, my Facebook page, it started as a page called Talent of the Underground, where I would showcase like emerging. I was like in like 2016, I was part of that wave of people who hated like SoundCloud rap just because like it wasn't the cool thing to like at the time. You know what I mean? And I didn't develop my own music opinions until later. It was kind of just like going with what was popular to hate on. So I would post like these lyrical, spiritual, miracle rappers on my page on Facebook to try and like help them get some viral numbers on there. When I realized that it didn't really do much for me, like I had like 10,000 followers on Facebook, which was like my biggest platform back in 2017. And I was getting like 4 likes per post on Facebook. And I was like, oh shit, like clearly it's a dying platform, or not a dying platform, but a platform that people aren't paying as much attention to. Let me, shift my attention. So I moved over to Instagram, and then my Instagram had no motion really because you couldn't do that invite thing, and you still can't do that invite thing that I used to do on Facebook. So I shifted to TikTok, which seemed like the next best option for me.
When did you first realize you had like something special with One Track Mind?
I want to say when I spoke. So basically, like 3 years ago, I want to say. I interviewed Flip De Niro, and after I interviewed Flip, the biggest artist from my city had reached out to me and showed me some love, told me to pull up on like an Airbnb that he was staying at. So when I was there, I'm from Montreal, Canada. He had called Cena, who owns Montreality, and he was like, "Yo, like you gotta fuck with my bro." Da 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 da. And the artist K Goon, shout out to bro, put me on the phone with Cena, Hasuna checked my shit out, and he's like, yo, like you got some potential here. And that, like, Montreality is a platform I've been looking up to since I was like super young. So like, yeah, hearing that from him, I was like, all right, cool. Like, I feel like I might have something going for me.
What are some of like the influencers and like creators or artists that you met that like completely blew your mind when doing this?
There's a few. Like, the only time shit really blows my mind is not like when I meet them, but it's when they're aware of who I am, because that kind of like makes me go like, holy shit. Like, Cole Bennett for sure, biggest one to this day. Like, for me personally, like Cole Bennett, like he had shared my stuff on Instagram. He shared one of my videos on his story like last February, and then I met him in May or June of last year. And then I saw him again a couple months ago in Toronto. And by name, he knew me, like talked to me about my platform a little bit, like actually knows who I am as a person. And it so put it into perspective for me. I was just like, wow, like bro really is aware of who I am. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, that's definitely the biggest one, but there are a couple for sure.
What artists do you listen to in like the underground scene?
I've always been a huge Fago fan. So I still bump Fago to this day. Like a lot of people give bro a lot of hate, but I think his music is incredible. Um, Autumn is one of my most like frequent replayed artists on from the underground scene. Uh, who else do I listen to? I listen to Your Stepdad. He's pretty fire. He's on the come up. And SSG Kobe, despite the controversy, like I'm very good at separating the art from the artist. You know what I mean? I'm still a fan of the guy's music.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're like the main content creator for like Festival Metro, right?
So yeah, kinda. Basically, the way the festival works is it's based in Quebec. Since it is, they need one English content creator and one French content creator for their short form platform, like TikTok, and I guess they're gonna integrate Reels in there. So I was the English host of their TikTok platform, leading up to the festival and at the festival.
How did you get in that position?
So the guy who was running the French part of that needed an English co-host, and him and I didn't know each other. Um, but this guy who's been following me for a while follows him as well, and he posted being like, "Yo, I need a English co-host for the TikTok channel." And the guy who followed me replied to his story being like, "Yo, you got to tap in OneTrack, this that," and then he hit me, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like this was right after one of my boys had told me he was doing virtually the same thing for Rolling Loud. And I was like, wow, like this is a dope opportunity considering the fact that like my peers are doing the same thing for other big festivals. And this is like a festival local to me. So I definitely want to get involved. So we hopped on a call and he spoke with his superiors. Like some of them already knew my content. So yeah, it was like kind of like a perfect fit.
So how was it?
It was cool, bro. Like the festival itself was dope. I think the content leading up to it was also dope. Like I think that doing content for Metro leading up to the festival really added to my face card in my city. Just like on in terms of like being more of like a, for lack of better words, established creator. Like sometimes people will know who I am, but not necessarily be supportive of me. Like I'll be walking on the street and like they'll be like, "Oh, you're the guy from TikTok," and that's not always necessarily a compliment. Like they could be trolling you on some like, "Yo, you're the guy from TikTok, like you're a bozo, you make content, you know what I mean?" But when you get like the stamp from like a festival that's so well recognized in the city, like how are they going to troll you for that? You know what I mean? I'm making money doing what you wish you could be doing, and you know for a fact that I am. You know what I mean?
How receptive were like your family and like peers around you when you first said you want to do this?
0% receptive, bro. Zero. Like I was studying computer science when I started like putting my face on camera and making like my own original content. And I would skip classes to learn about the music industry. Like I would skip all my classes and go to like the cafeteria and just like YouTube how to blow up in the music industry or how to be a successful artist manager, anything that I could learn that could give me advice on how to like use social media to my advantage as either an artist or a creative. Like I would just watch hella videos like that. And I'm Jewish. Jewish parents really want you to be like a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or some shit like that. Um, and computer scientist they were fine with that. And then they found out I was skipping my classes, and my dad was like, "Hey, like you got to start studying and doing your shit and whatever." But I ended up graduating computer science, and I went to Ryerson for university. And then when my dad saw, basically like when I was at Ryerson, I went and rented a like I guess like a townhouse, like a floor of a townhouse, and he came to see my house when I first moved in, and he was like, "Whoa, like you can afford to pay for this?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, All right, cool. You can keep making content then. I was like, all right, cool.
Okay, going back to festivals, you have your own FirsTrackFest, right?
Mhm.
How'd that come to be?
What had happened was this past, like, not summer but like September, Rolling Loud had me come out to do some media work for them, and integrate my platform in with Rolling Loud at the Toronto Festival. um, and first and foremost, shout out to Rolling Loud for bringing me out. I'm very, very appreciative of that. Um, but there was a day where I had lined up like 8 or 9 interviews, and I was told to just wait in a specific spot by like some sort of representative who was managing media that day. And I waited there for 45 minutes, missed like some of the best sets of friends of mine. You know what I mean? Dom Valley had performed. I didn't get to see him, and that's like my longtime friend. Like, we've been friends for a couple years now. I really wanted to see him perform at his first Rolling Loud. Um, and I missed the set, and 45 minutes go by, and I walked up to the person who told me to wait, and I was like, hey, like, do you have any updates for me? And she was like, oh, no one told you? And I was like, what? And she's like, all of your interviews are canceled for the day. And I was like, that kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Again, Rolling Loud, appreciate them a lot for bringing me out. I'm not saying anything bad about the festival at all. Very dope festival, and I strongly encourage everybody to go to Rolling Loud. It's a sick fucking festival. I just was a little bit like bothered by the fact that I couldn't get the interviews in. And when I was driving back from Toronto to Montreal after the festival was done, Jake and Leo hit me from First Class Fest. Sorry, Jake and Leo from First Class hit me, being like, "Hey, like, we're booking DC the Dawn in Montreal. Do you want to be a part of this?" And I figured, if I throw my own, shows and festivals and things of that nature, I'm in charge of the media and I can do whatever content I want to do because I'm the one fronting the bag. I'm the one doing whatever. Like, the more control you have, the more control you have. You can do what you want. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm super down. And then we threw the first one in November, with DC the Dawn, Dom Valley, Kato's Eye, and a bunch of other fire artists. And then we did the second one in March with Killy, Dro Kenji, Kato again, and again a bunch of dope artists. Like, it was both back to back were really, really cool. And yeah, like, we're working on our next one. I'm not sure when it's gonna be, but it's dope. Honestly, it's a very, very fun time.
What do you think an artist has to do in order to be successful in the position that you're in, right? Where this is kind of like their full-time job.
Yeah, it all depends on like how comfortable you are with settling for different positions, right? Like ideally, I could be Aiden Ross. You know what I mean? Ideally, I can go and be the biggest content creator in the world, but I'm very happy with my position. Like, I'm not upset about the fact that I'm not in that position where I'm like, the most famous human being on the planet or whatever it is, getting millions and millions of dollars. Like, I'm just living my life, sustaining, and it's because I'm settling is a bad word, but like, it's because I'm comfortable in the position that I'm in, and I'm aware of the fact that it's like kind of like a step to step process. And the same can be said for artists. Like, if you're an artist and you want to get on, like, and you know how to produce or engineer music, get on as a producer, get on as an engineer, and use those. Like, the primary concern for any artist out there should be to make music in some capacity, whether it's your own, somebody else's, or something else in music, into a full time career. Once you can make music into a full time career, figure out how to make your own music into a full time career. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When it comes to social media, what platform do you think is best for artists to like promote their music?
All of them. There's not a single one that's better than the others, because you can get a million views on Facebook Reels, but you could also get a million views on YouTube Shorts. Like, might as well shoot the shot with everything. I would never tell anybody to go and make a long form YouTube video and then forget about it the next day. Like, go and repurpose your content and put it across all platforms, because there's not a single platform that can do any harm to you. You can't upload it on YouTube Shorts and now you're labeled as this guy who uploads on YouTube Shorts, or you're corny. Fuck that. Upload everywhere.
As in like artist or an influencer, what are like the most important people to like network in this industry? Whether it be like managers, blogs, or like artists themselves.
I would say managers. Okay, as an artist or an influencer, managers are the best way to go about it, because what you can do for an individual artist or an individual blog writer or whatever it might be, it's it's very give and take with the individual rather than their career as a whole. So like, if I go and I meet, fucking Drake, right? And I want to go and like connect with Drake and offer some sort of value. What value can I bring to Drake? Virtually nothing because he's Drake, right? Like there's nothing that I can bring of value to Drake because he's Drake. However, if I meet Drake's manager who's working on Naomi Sharon, who's the up and coming OVO artist that they're trying to develop, right? She's a new signee to OVO, has like, 100 and something thousand followers, not the most lit artist in the world. I can bring actual value to her. And then now I've built this relationship with Drake's manager, like as opposed to building a relationship with someone who really doesn't give that much of a fuck about what it is that I can do for them because there's not much I can do for them. I go and build it with the manager because the manager has other people on their rosters. That's been my philosophy for years.
Any new like upcoming projects that you want to share? So like when the next first class fest is or anything like that?
I don't know when our next festival is going to be, so I can't really speak on that too much. But weekly long form content coming. I'm going to be really seriously on that grind. We just, hired a little couple editors to help out with that and make sure that I can consistently keep up with the short and the long form contents together, as well as hosting for other platforms just to kind of my philosophy is more visibility for me and my face means more visibility for my platform. So I'll be hosting for a couple other platforms, festivals, things that really just get my face and the message of OneTrackMind out there. So stay on the lookout.